Alright, ready, record.
Mm-hmm.
Recording.
It is
It's
recording.
recording.
I don't know what's wrong with you. For the sake of my heart, God, can we just do this in a normal way?
That's basic. And God was like, I'm not gonna use a job. I'm gonna do it like this.
Hold on, before that, what I'm not telling you is that I'm gonna ask you to kill your son.
Right?
But I'm gonna make you great.
Okay, God, do you, boo?
Like, if you don't play your cards right, that thing you
Gonna
want
be
so much,
soft.
you're not gonna get it.
Look like, oh, you're gonna tell me that.
You ever get this feeling sometimes when you're walking up to some of these moments to walk over there and you're gonna give it?
He provides money, he provides a honey. Hey. So in 2014, my dad died, and it was the most traumatic, life-shattering experience of my existence. I had never experienced death so close before, and especially sudden death. And there was a lot of questions between me and God of why or why now, that I couldn't shake the thought that kept plaguing my mind. How are we going to survive financially? I thank God that at this time, myself, my younger sibling, and my mom, we were all working. But what we made did not equal how much daddy made. Like, all of this don't equal. And I just kept thinking, how are we going to do this? My youngest sister was about to go to university. How are we going to pay for that? We have car loans, there are the monthly bills and expenses. I don't understand. Oh, light bulb, you need to get a new job. So naturally, I tried sending out resumes, calling different companies, and getting my feelers out, both locally and internationally, so that I could help to fill the gap that was there. And just when I was about to give up hope, I still didn't get the job, no. So I was just like, God, what is this plan now? At that point, I got an opportunity to just sit back and realize that so far, it was probably like 3 or 4 months after that, nobody never go hungry. I saw God provide for our family in miraculous ways. I mean, yes, there was insurance, but there was definitely miracles. I remember one day my mother went into her bedroom and there was an envelope on her bed with the exact amount of money that was needed for a particular bill. Who could have that apart from God? There was also another day, probably like 2 or 3 months after, when we were all at home just chilling and the phone rings, we answer it. Somebody's calling to speak to Stephen. And we're like, we're so sorry, but he has passed, blah, blah, blah. They say, oh, well, we're calling for XXX insurance company. Well, from XXX insurance company. And he has a particular life insurance policy, and we were calling because we haven't seen him make any payments over the past couple months. So we're just like, yeah, we know that he had a policy, we got that one. He's like, no, there's a second policy. And we were just like, what? And we were able to go in, bringing in all of the information that they might need to get something like that. Ultimately, that season right there was God proving to me that He didn't need my salary to be able to provide for my family. He didn't need my efforts. What I was doing was not helping at all, because everything else that He lined up came in without my help, without my mom's help, without my sister's help. It wasn't any effort on our part. And He was proving to me that He is ultimately my provider, not my salary, not the kind of job I have. No, it was about who God is and the fact that He takes care of His children. I mean, the testimony could end here, but a year later, a friend from church sent me a message to say, oh, I see this job, apply for this. And I was thinking, no, God is my provider. I don't need to look for jobs anymore. He's doing it. Thank you, Lord. I'm good. I go to work and my coworker comes to me and says, I saw this and I think that you're the perfect person for this same job. I'm like, okay, I mean, as a coworker, should you really be telling me to leave the job? But that's besides the point. And I thought, that's interesting. And I was toying with it because I'm like, no, but God, I'm not gonna seek out anything, you know. I just want to trust you. And left, went home. The next day came to work, opened Facebook, and the first thing that I saw as I opened Facebook was that ad. And I said, okay, God, I think that you are talking. And I applied for that job, and I got that job. And I was making at that job, this new job now, 3 times as much as I was making at the other job. Everything was just orchestrated. It was perfectly orchestrated by God. That was not even any effort on my part. I didn't go out seeking this job. I didn't look through the newspaper or scour any websites. Literally, people kept bringing this job to me, and I put it before the Lord, and it was the only place that called me back. So my whole testimony is the fact that money is nothing compared to God. He owns a cattle on 1,000 hills, and he can provide for you even beyond what you could even imagine.
God is wise in his own way, and that he can do it however he wants. Is it something that you feel like you've mastered in terms of just trusting him totally in whichever way?
Thinking about Tony's testimony that we heard last week, him pay for her masters, you know?
Yeah.
So in terms of money, no. In terms of other things, I find that sometimes I'm like, as I start to feel a little bit anxious, God, I don't understand how it's gonna do it. I reflect on times like these to help kind of like get me through, but I'm not as, I'll just chuck off into the deep with everything, but I'm hoping to get to that level. And anytime I find myself getting too anxious, I realize something is wrong here. Either I'm too far from God, or my eyes are not on God, or I'm trying to look at me to provide. Yes, and that was basically it in with my testimony. I was looking at me to provide.
Right.
Like, I need to step up, I need to do it. And God was like, look at me, look at God, and he will provide everything for you.
So like how you said, if you find that you're getting anxious about something or you're worrying, something is wrong.
Right.
So whether it is that you have stepped away, you're not listening, you've taken up the situation and decided to solve it yourself, it's a red flag that something is wrong. You don't sit down and be like, geez.
Another thing that just stood out for me in this whole time was that I realized that my faith was in Daddy, Earth Daddy,
in your Father,
and not Heavenly Daddy. So yes, God will provide for Daddy, and then Daddy will provide for me. So whatever we need, Daddy, can I get this? And yes, no, maybe so, whatever the answer is, you know, he is gonna figure it out. There's gonna be some solution. So when Daddy died, it was almost like there's a void. There's a big void now. How are we gonna get anything?
Yeah.
It's almost like you sometimes I trust you in a God, but let's just not test that. If you get what I'm saying, let's just cause that's kind of out there, and I go have to go take a couple loans, you know, cause till we bridge the gap, I go have to make some compromises. When I went into the interview, the first thing the person asked me was, "You're a Christian?" And I was just like, oh. Should I say yes or no? I feel like it's a trap. I feel like if I say yes, they're gonna be like, you can't. Like, I would have just known the interview was over.
Right? Like, yes, I'm a Christian. I am involved in these ministries at my church, and I do this and all those lovely things. And they were just kind of like, oh, very unimpressed, because I was thinking, you should be proud of me. And when I was leaving, they said that they would have actually gotten in touch with me, and I said, I actually don't think this is the place for me. And the person said, look like, oh, you're gonna tell me that kind of. And I left with legit so much peace. So when you say, you know, you compromise yourself, I was genuinely like in that chair when she asked, you're a Christian, I was genuinely thinking, how to answer this to get this job.
Right, that's exactly.
Because this is the job.
This is how God's gonna provide.
This is how God is gonna provide.
Right. Let me help God here. Let me help him out.
That place now.
That's
Come
true.
on now.
Oh, girl.
And I think it really comes back down to that place of faith, like just trusting that God will provide for you.
Yeah.
Trust God in the process.
That's right.
You know, because a lot of the times we also trust Him at the beginning.
Oh, girl, that's exciting. Cause usually has a word. I am gonna make you, Abraham, a great nation. And then, but hold on, before that, what I'm not telling you is that I'm gonna ask you to kill your son.
Right?
But I'm gonna make you great.
So I'm pretty grateful that I learned that lesson, and I really don't hope I have to do like a level 3. Like level 1, 2 was good, you know. I hope I have to do like a level 3 course in God providing.
You were able to really just declare God in the midst of, you know, this opportunity to compromise. And it's so easy to want to help God out in what it is that he promises that he's going to do. Like, yeah, his word says that he will provide and he will do this. Let's see how best I can help him out with that. You know, are we willing to trust him? And it's one of the ways we can also think about like Sherona's testimony. If God is going to provide, then he can definitely do it his own way. He will also bring the best person in your life, right?
So, in growing up and in looking for a guy, I didn't particularly have a type. I mean, I figured once he was nice enough, smart enough, someone's aware of God, that this should be okay. And problem was it wasn't. It just kept leading to disappointment after disappointment. And as my relationship with God deepened, I figured maybe I should get God's input on, my relationships. And since he already knew my future, then he'd also knew what's not in my future. So what I started doing after a while was saying, here what, God, if this isn't the guy for me, then, break it off. And that he surely did. Problem with this is that it kept leading to disappointments still. What this led me to doing was put God on the forefront instead of on the tail end. And say, how about God, you choose the guy for me. This was an adventure. First of all, God told me, okay, no more guys for the next year. Like, no more. Just stop. Just seek me alone. And I must say that was the best year of my life ever. I mean, that was the year that I did best in school. It's the year I met some of the best friends I've ever had. It was the year that OBOG started. I was just so happy with it being me and God alone. When it came to actually finding a guy, I was honestly pretty hesitant because I felt like God would have just choose somebody not so attractive, somebody dorkish and boring, and and I was just like, And during that year, God taught me 3 very important things. 1, that he really loves me. 2, he knows what's best for me. And 3, he actually wants to give me what's best for me. Knowing those 3 things, I had to make a decision whether or not I was going to trust him to choose my husband or not. I decided to trust him. And I mean, at the end of that year, it was just so almost divine and just ridiculous how God pointed Nicholas into my life. And when I eventually met Nicholas, it was just almost without question that this was my husband. Of course, I saw advice from many persons, many accountability partners and everything. And it just was without doubt that yes, this was my husband. Don't seek God after the fact, but seek him first, and trust him. Like, trust him with your love life too. Yeah.
So, real talk though, there were other guys that were on the scene at the same time. How do I know this? Because I was there. How did you know that this is where God was leading you?
I hate to sound cheesy, but it was just a change in my emotions, my thinking, my stomach got sick, and I hate to say that. It really sound like a Disney movie right now. I really hate to say it, but it was just so much that changed. I was just like, something is off. And even in just praying and just asking God, like, what is it? Just give me peace, because right now I feel very, very disturbed and very frustrated, Lord. What is it? What are you trying to say? What is it? And then it was just was like, this is him. Like, hello, this is it. I'm giving you the go ahead. I'm just like, but no, God, because it was me and you, remember? And we were good with it just being me and you all this time. And he's just like, sure, just relax. Remember, I said, I want what's best for you. So allow me to give you what's for you. Yeah. But mind you, I never just get up and just go do all of this on my own. Like a lot of persons who was calling and just being like, oh my God, I don't know, but I feel like I met this right guy. I don't know. I'm being crazy. Like, what do you think? So I had a mentor at the time who I called like same night. I had you, Judene, who I was just like, yo, pray for me, But let me tell you what's going on. A few persons who I called, I was just like, no, just be honest. Like, there's this guy, and I really don't know what's going on, but just pray for me, and just keep an eye out for me in case I just been really ridiculous, because this seems ridiculous to just fall in love with that guy before actually meeting them. You know what I mean? So just, yeah.
I like the fact that you put caution in place.
Yeah.
You call your friends and you're just like, look, this is happening. The position is to pray so that the Lord can speak to them. So if your signal gets any interference and you get a little crazy, because we know it happens, you put yourself in a position to take counsel. And I think that is one of the things in your testimony that I strongly admire. Because a lot of times when people get into relationships, the first thing that happens is that they get private.
Yes. No more transparency.
Yeah, and all of a sudden this works based on you, and you have to protect it and you own it, and it becomes this perfect place for Satan to hide in. I really admire this about this testimony, especially if you think he's married, go marry the person. And I find that Satan is able to catch a lot of Christians with that privacy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if it was the Sacred Search or if it was God is a Matchmaker that spoke about the fact that for the first 18 months that you're in a relationship with somebody,
Infatuation.
You're in infatuation. What was it?
Sacred Search.
Sacred Search?
Yeah.
You're in like crazy infatuation, so you genuinely cannot
Be
think
objective.
well.
Yeah.
That's the right word. You can't be objective.
Right.
So it is just wise for you to have a council of persons
Yeah.
around you that can help to say, no, look with these special eyes. This is the real thing that's happening right now, because the infatuation is a real blocker. Oh, I'm hanging with Bae. So you and Bae doing? We're just hanging. Okay. I don't really want you in my business anymore. And that is the time when you need persons in your business, because you just don't have the mental capacity to think objectively, to see the dangers right in front of you,
Yeah.
or to even see the good things. Because I find with Sherona's testimony is that she was overly cautious. God literally said, go. And she was literally like,
Just clinging.
I can't do it, God.
Right.
I'm gonna bust a secret now in the fact that I accidentally stole her phone. Accidentally. And messaged Nick and was just like, we'll meet up for Tutti Frutti, because she wouldn't step out, and bless God, they're married with kids.
Oh,
No, but
Judene.
it's important to do that in terms of be open, so
Yeah.
that you can,
Yeah.
when you are either I'm ready to get married tomorrow, honey.
Yeah.
All right, stop. And similarly, if you are stepping back away from a blessing that God is giving you, this is recording. Actively recording right now.
No, it's a Nick thing.
It's fine.
This is just what he does.
Clearly, it's just,
the perfect
you
timing.
need persons to help you to see. And I like what Tony said as well, the fact that you're not just going to choose your friends, not just people who are around you, but persons who know you, know the things that you also want to achieve in life, and who are hearing from the Lord. Because a lot of us, whenever we want to do something, we turn to the people who can tell us yes.
You always have that friend.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Shari, you deserve to be happy. Don't listen to Judene.
Yeah.
Take your destiny in your hands.
Hey,
Wow.
come on now. Don't listen to that. don't do that. But it's important to have wise counsel. Alright, well, it looks like we really need to go into this relationships thing.
Definitely.
And we need to get into your story and how you met Mr. Right. And Shari, is there a Mr. Right in your life too?
God knows. Can there be contentment in singleness? Is it a myth? I feel like that's something we can talk about as well.